The National News Desk, locally covered, nationally connected.
Be ready to get out and get out quickly.
The fight against a firestorm in Los Angeles just got harder. A new blaze explodes in size. What's contributing to its forceful speed?
Obviously, we'll appeal it. They put it before a certain judge in Seattle, I guess, right? And there's no surprises with that judge.
Trump defeated in court over his Birthright citizenship executive order. What Congress is doing to help him get his way. And the new link between ADHD and longevity, the dramatic difference in life expectancy revealed by a new study. This is the National News Desk, America's News Now. I'm Amira David. Tonight, just 2 weeks after the firestorm that devastated California, another fire erupting in LA County, exploding to more than 10,000 acres. Here's the moment an aerial tanker dropped fire retardant on the blaze that began just 2 days ago. The location in the Santa Clarita area playing a role in the speed of that fire.
We're in a valley. Winds can kick up in an instant almost. They can swirl because we're in the valley. Winds don't necessarily go in one direction.
And with that fire, just 14% contained. More than 50,000 people right now under evacuation orders and warnings tonight. First responders say some relief is on the way, but conditions are still ripe for more blazes to erupt.
We are expecting rain starting on Saturday and Sunday. But once that rain passes, it's going to dry up again. So we need sustained rain. A lot of the vegetation looks like this. It's super dry. Any one spark, it will have a new start of a fire.
Though nearly contained, the two biggest blazes, the Palisades and Eaton fires, are still burning, as are two fires, new fires, Laguna and the Sepulveda blaze that's not far from UCLA's campus. And according to CAL FIRE, between all of the blazes that are currently burning, we're talking about 50,000 acres of land scorched. Help and relief efforts underway right now across the country to help everyone affected, and that includes our parent company, Sinclair Incorporated, which is partnering with the Salvation Army to provide essential meals, fresh water, and supplies to the hardest hit areas. If you want more information, scan the QR code right there on your screen or go to sinclaircares.com. It is still much colder than average in most of the country, from the Rockies to the East Coast, and especially in the Southeast. Over 30 million people under cold weather-related alerts. The wind has died down somewhat, but wind chills are still making it feel about 10 degrees colder. And these conditions are expected to cause the most problems in the Gulf Coast and Southeast, where there's still snow and ice on roads from the historic winter storm. It's expected to slowly warm up over the next couple of days. Snow showers are also forecast in the Northeast tonight, and moderate accumulation of lake effect snow is possible downwind of the Great Lakes. Disaster relief will be under the microscope as President Donald Trump prepares for both a trip to North Carolina and California on Friday, two states hit hard by natural disasters. As the National News Desk's Matt Gelka reports, the visit and his recent comments amplify a fight over how relief gets to the states that need it most.
I don't think we should give California anything until they let water flow down.
President Donald Trump seemed to indicate that disaster aid for California would have strings attached. The comments come as new fires threaten the Los Angeles area and ahead of a planned visit from Trump on Friday.
How is it possible that you're not allowing this water? They divert it out to the Pacific Ocean where it drops into the ocean.
California officials have pushed back on Trump's repeated water claims. Still, the state is in need of disaster relief as Congress is mulling over if conditions will be attached to aid money.
Not only do we have to get aid to Los Angeles, but we need to make sure that these crises, these catastrophes don't happen again.
Let me just say, there should be no conditions to any aid for any disaster. To me, I've seen disasters across this country. I don't care. You know, people want to identify red and blue states. How do you put conditions on somebody losing a life or losing a home that they've lived in forever or losing their livelihood of a business? It's outrageous.
Trump's trip will also include a visit to still recovering North Carolina. The state was battered 4 months ago by Hurricane Helene. The president has been highly critical of the previous administration's response to the storm, as well as the Federal Emergency Management Agency. Trump floated the idea of heavy FEMA reform on the horizon. FEMA was established in the 70s and is funded by Congress. They typically assist states after a disaster financially and with on-the-ground staffing.
It gets in the way. And FEMA is going to be a whole big discussion very shortly, because I'd rather see the states take care of their own problems.
The debate over disaster aid could lead to deals in Congress. Top Republicans are considering tying border security money and a debt limit increase to California aid and government funding money to try and get Democrats on board. Reporting in Washington, I'm Matt Gelka.
President Trump's executive order to limit birthright citizenship for non-legal and temporary residents will not take effect on February 19th, as was planned by the president. A federal judge blocked the order today, calling it blatantly unconstitutional. Trump's DOJ attorneys disagree and say that non-legal residents are not under the jurisdiction of the United States and therefore not protected by the 14th Amendment. They will appeal. On Capitol Hill, House Republicans are introducing legislation to codify President Trump's executive order, eliminating birthright citizenship.
People who are abusing this now, they're here temporarily, and they're here illegally. They should not be granted the special gift of citizenship in the United States of America when you've abused our laws.
The Birthright Citizenship Act would deny citizenship for new children born in the U.S. to parents not legally living in the country. But the law, if passed, could also be ruled as unconstitutional if the Supreme Court rules that it violates the 14th Amendment. Lawmakers are both celebrating and criticizing the way President Trump's mass deportation plan is playing out. Hundreds of arrests have already been made, and the president has brought in new federal resources to help. Here's national correspondent Christine Frizzell with the details.
It's an episode playing out on repeat in cities across America. This man arrested just outside of Boston. Fox News capturing these arrests also in Boston, which they say include MS-13 gang members and rape and murder suspects.
Jails and mental institutions from other countries and gang members right off the streets of the toughest cities in the world are being brought to the United States of America and emptied out into our country.
Donald Trump's Department of Homeland Security just granting new authorities to the Drug Enforcement Administration, Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, and the U.S. Marshals Service to assist with immigration enforcement, as his executive orders have declared schools, hospitals, and churches are no longer off limits, with mixed messages coming from community leaders.
So whether it's a school, a church, a hospital, they need a warrant. And if they don't have it, they don't get in.
Supporters of President Trump's mass deportation plan celebrating the operations already being carried out.
He wants to rid our cities and our country of people who are members of the drug cartels, sex traffickers, gang members, criminals who have been wreaking havoc in cities like mine.
Her city of New York, as well as Boston, Philadelphia, Denver, Miami, and Washington, D.C., all sanctuary cities, among the cities targeted first, with nearly 500 arrests made, as some question the strategy.
Why is it not Tennessee? Why not Georgia? Why not Florida? Those where a large population of undocumented immigrants are, easy to find in these plans. So it's more of a political agenda than it is really that about sort of following out and carrying the law.
As these operations unfold in cities, the southern border itself is preparing for a flood of U.S. troops. 1,500 already ordered there, another 10,000 told to plan for the same. A mission involving blocking entry to migrants on the grounds they pass through countries where communicable diseases are present. I'm Christine Frizzell for the National News Desk.
And tonight, migrants who've been in the country for years now struggling with the reality that their days in this country may be numbered. That includes in Portland, where we spoke with Francisco Aguirre. He came to the U.S. from El Salvador 2 decades ago when he was just a teen to escape gang violence.
I flee the violence there because my life, was in danger. And if I stay, I will get killed. My relatives got killed back in El Salvador, and I did not have any other choice.
Aguirre says he knows that today it's still just as dangerous in his home country because he's still mourning the death of his son, who was recently deported back to El Salvador, where he was shot and killed. John Ratcliffe is the second Trump cabinet nominee to be confirmed by the Senate. In a 74-25 vote, Ratcliffe has been ratified to be the next CIA director. The Senate also moved controversial Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth through a procedural vote, 51-49, setting up a vote for final confirmation as early as tomorrow night. Republican Senators Susan Collins and Lisa Murkowski joined all Democrats in opposition. Two more Republicans would have to vote no to deny Hegseth the position. Late this afternoon, President Trump signed more executive orders. Included in that batch was a pardon of protesters who were convicted of blocking roads and access to abortion clinics. He called their arrests horrible. Trump also declassified all files related to the assassinations of President John F. Kennedy, his brother Robert F. Kennedy, as well as Reverend Martin Luther King Jr.
A lot of people are waiting for this for years, for decades. And everything will be revealed.
Metro Nashville police searched the home and questioned at least one of the parents of Solomon Henderson. Yesterday, Solomon Henderson, a 17-year-old, opened fire at Antioch High School, killing one female student and injuring another. Police say he then turned the gun on himself, taking his own life. Police are also trying to confirm suspicious social media posts possibly made by the teen that showed a plan for a mass shooting was supposed to happen today, but that he needed to speed up the timeline. The posts also indicate the desire to kill at least 10 students. The social media app Kick confirmed that Henderson partially live streamed the event from inside the school. A video was posted that shows the suspect wearing black boots, trying to open a door and then walking away from it. 7 police officers are recovering after being shot in San Antonio overnight. Police say they were responding to a suicide in progress call that led to an hours-long standoff with the suspect, Brandon Paulos.
At the end of the event, the suspect was found to be deceased. We don't know if he was shot by a self-inflicted wound or whether or not he was shot by SWAT officers.
The officers are expected to fully recover. $7.4 billion, that's how much the OxyContin maker Purdue Pharma has agreed to pay in a new settlement to lawsuits over the toll of the powerful prescription painkiller. The deal settles claims by states, local governments, and lawyers representing thousands of victims of the opioid crisis. It's among the largest settlements reached in recent years, holding companies responsible for the deadly epidemic. And another spike in egg prices could be coming as bird flu spreads. The virus was just detected in 1.4 million chickens in Mercer County, Ohio, just weeks after it was found in nearly 1 million birds in a different flock. It's part of an outbreak that began in 2022. An Ohio official shared with our reporters that the virus is probably spreading from birds migrating over western Ohio and Indiana. Attorneys for Brian Kohberger, the man accused of killing 4 University of Idaho students, were in court today trying to dismiss possible DNA evidence against him. They claim it hinges on an unconstitutional genetic investigation process. They also say search warrants were tainted by police misconduct. The judge did not rule on the motion today. The hearing is expected to continue tomorrow. Coming up, layoffs are on the rise across the country, what that means for the economy and looming interest rate cuts. Then the space heaters sold on Amazon that are being recalled because they could catch fire. And later, people in Maryland fed up with rising retail theft, the changes they're asking for from the state. We'll be right back. And we want to give you a live look at Hawaii's Kilauea volcano that's now erupting again for the 5th time since last month. It is the most active volcano in the world. Around 50 to 70 volcanoes erupt each year. Companies are relatively cautious about hiring right now. The number of Americans receiving unemployment benefits was the highest seen in over 3 years the week of January 11th. 1.9 million. That's according to the Labor Department. Unemployment benefit applications reflecting layoffs also rose to 223,000 last week. But the job market is still strong, meaning the Fed will still probably not cut interest rates next week. Abilene, Texas has been selected as the first location for an AI infrastructure project that President Trump says will create over 100,000 American jobs. Project Stargate, a joint venture of 3 tech companies, will invest $500 billion in artificial intelligence infrastructure. An Oracle executive said the data centers are already being built in Abilene.
As we begin to use artificial intelligence, AI in the world, that has to be, that information and that artificial intelligence has to be processed somewhere, and it's processed in a data center.
A consumer alert for families looking to buy a new home. The National Housing Board just released their new projections of a growing index following months of an underperforming market. And Zillow has their latest on the top 10 markets across the country. The National News Desk's Angela Brown is going through the list.
Salt Lake City, Utah, projected to be the hottest real estate market in the West this year. Our reporters on the ground in Salt Lake talked to housing experts who found the ranking rather surprising.
Maybe a little bit surprising given how unaffordable just the housing market everywhere has become.
Here's Salt Lake sitting at number 10 with the top 3 shaping up like this. For the second year in a row, Buffalo comes in at number 1, followed by Indianapolis in second, Providence, Rhode Island in third. To come up with this list of the hottest markets, Zillow analyzed the 50 largest U.S. metro areas for the following: home value growth, projected change in owner-occupied homes, the speed at which homes are sold, job growth compared to new construction.
Homeowners are starting to come back on the housing market. Inventory is up about 17% from the previous year, from last year. And so more options for buyers, a little bit more bargaining power, a slight improvement in affordability could be good for the housing market. It's going to be a healthier housing market in 2025.
Zillow predicts that 18 metro areas will experience faster home value growth in 2025 than they did last year. In Washington, D.C., I'm Angela Brown.
Angela, thank you. Thousands of space heaters are recalled because of a fire and electric shock risk. Vornado VH2 whole room heaters with date codes of July or August of 2024 are impacted. They were sold on Amazon from August to October. The power cords can partially detach from the heater enclosure, leading to cord damage. Now, if you have one, stop using it right away. Contact the company for a free replacement. Life expectancy for those with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, or ADHD, is drastically lower than those who do not have the condition. That's according to a new study published in the British Journal of Psychiatry. Over a 20-year period, researchers found that on average, diagnosed men had a life expectancy of nearly 7 years shorter, and women more than 8.5 years shorter than those without ADHD. There are many factors leading to the causes of death, but the study highlighted higher risk of mental health issues such as anxiety, depression, self-harm, suicide, and personality disorders that are more common with those with ADHD. The study did not look into medication or other treatments of the disorder. A new warning about heart health during flu season. Any virus can stress the heart and lead to higher risk of a cardiac event. Medical reporter Liz Bonus explains.
Hey there, everybody. There are several flu-like illnesses going around right now, and chances are if you have one, you feel pretty miserable. The quademic, as it's called, COVID-19, RSV, norovirus, and the flu, any one of those 4 all going around can make you really sick, but they can also be hard on the heart. Especially interventional cardiologist Dr. Puvi Shashaya says if you have any current heart risks.
That it increases the risk of heart attacks, can trigger heart failure as well.
What causes the heart distress with a viral illness such as the flu?
We believe that it irritates coronary plaque. We have seen increased incidence of heart attacks related to this.
Dr. Josiah says symptoms that your heart may be in distress with a viral illness include what might start off as flu-like symptoms, such as fever, fatigue, muscle aches, and chills. But then you may also notice trouble breathing, blue lips, chest pain or pressure, a fever or cough that gets worse, and confusion or non-responsiveness. If you notice any of these, he says, get immediate medical attention to reduce the odds of a serious cardiac event. Now, getting early treatment with medications can also help you shorten how long you are sick, but you need to reach out as soon as you feel those symptoms for best results. With your health news, I'm Liz Bonus reporting.
Important advice there, Liz. Thank you. And coming up, the side effect of weight loss drugs that's keeping doctors especially busy. We have reporters all across the country in your neighborhoods covering the issues that matter most to you. We're taking the pulse of America, and we start in Florida with the impact of border security changes.
Martin County Sheriff's deputies who patrol the coastline are stepping up their game, and they'll soon have federal arrest powers to go after people in boats off the southeast Florida coastline who are trying to smuggle in drugs or illegal aliens.
Now we're going to be going out further in the waters and hopefully preempting them from getting close to our shores.
Deputy Joseph Carney is one of several Martin County deputies who will hopefully become a task force officer with Homeland Security investigations in the next few weeks.
So how will this enable you to better protect the citizens here in the southeast Florida?
Well, specifically right off the bat, the illegal aliens coming into the country will be able to have more power to stop them, as well as narcotics coming in.
We've reported the trend and shown you the videos, the explosion of retail theft in stores across the regions. This shopping center in Oxon Hill has been hit again and again. Customers tell us they are fed up.
If they keep getting away with it, we're not going to have nothing in our stores to go shopping for. And plus, it's dangerous to even come out here.
I'm having trouble keeping, employees because they're scared to work, especially after the incidents where they actually brandish weapons.
Nor among those traveling to Annapolis to urge passage of a bipartisan bill targeting those high-volume shoplifters. Prince George's County Delegate Karen Toll is among the bill's sponsors. It would allow prosecutors to bundle multiple misdemeanor thefts into a felony charge.
The GLP-1 meds, including Ozempic, Wegovy, Zepbound, and Mounjaro, as we know, are making waves in the healthcare industry. And it turns out that includes more business for plastic surgeons after patients lose a lot of weight.
People asking about surgery to tighten the skin around their stomach, but we do have interest in people looking at their face, neck, arms, and thighs would be the other areas.
Dr. Ben Shallett at Albany Med says he receives multiple requests a week about these surgeries. So in his office,
every day I'm sure we're seeing somebody here who's asking, what can we do to help?
And coming up, the movies that just received the most Oscar nominations this year. We'll be right back. Nominations for the 97th Annual Academy Awards have been announced. Actors Rachel Sennott and Bowen Yang presented the nominees just this morning. The Netflix musical Emilia Perez, that leads with 13 nominations, including for Best Picture. Broadway movie adaptation Wicked trails behind with 10 nominations. Stars Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande received acting nods. The Brutalist also received 10 nominations. The Oscars will air live on Sunday, March 2nd. And that does it for this edition of the National News Desk. We do invite you to join us again this evening for more coverage on America's top stories. I'm Amira David. Thank you so much for watching.